go ahead and dive on in. I hope that you are in a quiet place. I sincerely hope that you've got your attitude right. I hope that you are ready to receive some information. And most importantly, I hope that you are ready to apply it. Because I can tell you guys, I'm going to give it to you tonight for sure. There will be no misunderstanding. There will be no confusion. This is what everyone needs. Period. End of story. Okay? So guys, let's go ahead and dive on in. Once again, this call is going to be an hour long. For most of you, this will probably be one of the most productive hours that you've ever spent here in your direct sales multi-level marketing career. So you want to make sure that you're not being distracted. I say that with all sincerity, guys. I say that with all sincerity. Put yourself in a position to learn, to capture the information passed down through years and years and years of experience. This information, I didn't make this information up. I didn't produce this information. I learned it, I've applied it, I'm winning with it, and I'm passing it or paying it forward to you tonight. The least you can do is make sure you give yourself and your family the best chance to win by paying attention, okay? So with that, folks, let's go ahead and pick up. You guys all know that we are actually teaching the 7 skills of how to be a network marketing professional. There are only 7 skills that you need to be proficient at to make tons of money. By that I mean 6 figures a year, 6 figures a month, and for some of you, 7 figures a year, okay? Again, there are only 7 skills. It doesn't matter if you don't know anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a horrible speaker. It doesn't matter if you are just toe up from the floor up. It doesn't matter. There are only 7 skills that you need to be successful. You know, we talked about last week, the first skill was finding the prospects. We really, really went deep, expressed and explained to everyone that finding prospects is not an issue, okay? Now, skill number 2 that we're going to talk about tonight, guys, is my favorite. This is the skill that I mastered immediately. I mastered this the first 30 days when I got involved in the industry 7.5 years ago. Let me say again. I mastered this skill my first 30 days 7.5 years ago. The first month, I mastered the skill. Why did I master it? Because my mentor told me, if you can't successfully invite people to see or hear some information, you might as well go home because you won't make any money. I'm going to say it again. My mentor, he told me, if you cannot successfully invite people to hear the compelling information that we offer, then you're going to struggle very, very, very hard. And I said, that makes sense to me. You've been doing it, sir, for 18 years. Why don't you teach me? You're the multimillionaire professional. And I sat there with note and pad, with a present mind, with a laser focus, and I captured everything, and I learned it, and I learned it, and I applied it, and I applied it, and I'm proud of it. Why? Because this is the number 1 skill that it takes for you to be successful in the whole industry. Yes, there are 8 skills that you will have to master, but this of all 8 is the most important skill of all 8. That's why tonight we're going to be talking for 1 hour. I wanted to make sure that I took some time to really, really, really drive the screws in so that every single one on our team knows how to play the game at the professional level, okay? Now, I want to let you know that this call is being recorded. It will be put up on our team website for you to re-listen to again, again, and again, and again, okay? So, what is the skill that we're going to be talking about tonight? Skill number 2 is the skill of prospecting and inviting. Prospecting and inviting, guys. Prospecting and inviting, okay? First thing I want to let you know, guys, is that success of any kind starts with your psychology. 80% of success comes down to psychology, the way you look at something. 20% of your success comes down to mechanics. And so with that being said, I want to first of all talk to you about the proper mindset. As it relates to inviting prospects, what is the goal? What is the mindset or mentality you should have every time you are prospecting and inviting someone to see or hear about your business? The mentality is you want to build a relationship with trust, and you want to collect a decision, meaning a yes or no. I repeat, the mindset, in other words, the goal of inviting. What is the goal? The goal is to build a relationship with your prospect of trust and to collect a decision, meaning a yes or a no. That is very important. When you are prospecting and inviting someone, your goal is not to do a presentation. Your goal is not to explain everything. Your goal is very simple: build a relationship where you establish some trust and literally get a decision, a yes or a no. Yes, I want to see more, or no, I don't. That is it. That is the only goal you have when prospecting and inviting. It's very important for you to understand the proper mindset every time you invite someone. Every time. Okay? Now, as it relates to inviting folks, there are, and by the way, we have slides for you online. For those that are more visual, you can just go online. You got the email, and you got the email from us, so it gives you the web address. You can see all the slides there, okay? And I encourage you, if you can, jump online. You want to see these slides. You're going to be very excited, most of you, trust me. All right, so as it relates to inviting, folks, you can invite to one of two different things. As it relates to inviting, you can invite to one of two different things. Number one is an event. Number one is an event. An event is always most effective because it builds trust, excitement, and social proof. Let's talk about what an event is. An event is a one-on-one meeting. That's an event. An event is a home meeting. We call them chocolate parties. That's an event. An event is a small group meeting. Maybe it might be over coffee. That's still an event. Also, an event is a local event. Maybe you might be going to a weekly meeting once a week that you guys might be doing in your city or town. Or an event is a regional event. Okay? So now you understand those are what we call events. So events are always the most effective because it builds trust, excitement, and it provides social proof. Now, let me give you the downside to an event. You ready for this? The downside to an event is that people don't show up. How many times have you invited someone and they said that they were going to be there and they didn't show? Well, guys, that happens all over the world. That happens to me. That happens to all the amateurs, all the pros. It happens to everyone. People sometimes don't show up. And this is the biggest reason why people drop out and quit the business. It's because people said they would be there and didn't show up, and the new distributor loses their faith and loses confidence and says, I guess this business isn't for me because people won't show up. When in actuality, this business is for you if you learn how to do it right. Okay? So, the second thing that you can invite to is a tool. You can invite people using a tool. And frankly speaking, folks, a tool is a better first step. A tool is a better first step for the new person or for anybody that you're wanting to be to get exposed to your concept or your product. So, what is a tool? A tool is a product sample. In our case, a sample of chocolate. A tool is a 5-minute sizzle call, which explains, the business. A tool would be a website, or a tool would be a DVD. Okay, and so using a tool certainly is a better first step. Okay, and so tonight, guys, what I'm going to be teaching you is how to invite your warm market. I'm going to be teaching you how to invite properly your cold market using a tool. Specifically speaking tonight, we're going to be talking about the 5-minute sizzle call. That is a tool. That's why we created that tool. For those of you that don't know what that tool is, it's a 5-minute pre-recorded 24 hours a day message that you can invite your prospects to hear the vice president and myself explain the entire concept in 5 minutes. Okay? Now, in addition to the sizzle call, you obviously have the tool of chocolate. That also is another tool, and you can give out samples. But tonight, we're going to mainly focus on using the tool called the sizzle call. Okay? Now, I want you to know, as we dive in here, that I want you to remember it doesn't matter what works. In the industry of direct sales, multi-level marketing, network marketing, the only thing that matters is what duplicates. Doesn't matter what works. All that matters is what duplicates. You see, every single one of you that are involved in this business is because you want to have more fun, you want to get healthier with our products, but you also want to get wealthier. Well, the only way you're going to make more money is you've got to understand all that matters is what duplicates. You see, a tool using a 5-minute sizzle call to explain things for you is duplicatable. As new people come into your business, they won't get discouraged. They won't feel intimidated by your speaking skills. Because sometimes when you're actually trying to prospect people, you know what they're thinking in their head? They're thinking, man, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not a talkative person. I don't know anyone. I'm more introverted. See, all this stuff is going on in their head, and they're building up a case as to why they can't be successful with the business. When in actuality, when you use a tool, you now take away all of their excuses, and anybody can put somebody on a 5-minute sizzle call. Okay? Now, the goal of using a tool is it's simple and it's easy. That's the goal. It's simple, it's duplicatable, it's simple, and it's easy. Now, this next thing I'm going to say is extremely important. You have to resist the urge to sound intelligent. Let me say that again. You have to resist the urge to sound intelligent. I'll never forget, guys, I used to have this challenge. I don't have it anymore. But typically when you start talking to people, you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, and you want to sound all very intelligent. And little do you not know, you're intimidating your prospect. Yes, they're sitting there listening to you, and they love the way you explain it, but you know what they're feeling? I don't know if I can explain it like you. I don't know if I can do it like you. That's why you want to resist the urge of trying to sound intelligent. Less is more, okay? And so now what I want to do, folks, I want to give you an example of why to use the tool. Again, we're talking about a 5-minute sizzle call. Let's say, and if you're looking at your screen, here is an example, okay? Let's say you have 10 people listen to the 5-minute sizzle call today. And let's say only one person joins your business. So there you know that for every 10 that listen to it, let's just say that only one person joins. Okay? So now let's move ahead. Let's say that you had you plus 10 other people doing the same thing, putting 10 people on an actual 5-minute sizzle call, and let's say only one joined. That would be 10 new distributors. So you plus 10 other people doing the same thing will give you 10 new distributors. You know what the beautiful thing about that is that everybody heard the same message from the same source. You remember the game called Telephone, where you would whisper in someone's ear, hello, and by the time it came all the way back around to you, it turned into goodbye and good night? That's what happens when you actually, that's what happens, guys. When you don't use a system or you don't use a tool, the duplication breaks down. That's why I want to strongly urge you to use the tool. Now watch what happens. You plus 20 people doing the same thing, and now you have 40 new distributors. Not new customers, guys, 40 new distributors. And this is simply from everybody putting 10 people on a 5-minute sizzle call. You see, if you want to grow a big organization, you must understand the formula for success. It is to get a large group of people to do a few simple things consistently over an extended period of time. I'm going to say that again. For those of you that are on this call tonight and you want to build a large organization, you've got to understand it's very simple to do when you understand this formula. A large group of people to do a few simple things over a consistent period of time. Guys, it's called the KISS formula. Keep it stupid simple. That's why a 5-minute sizzle call should be the first exposure that you want to get people to. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you in a minute how to get people to the sizzle call. Don't worry about it. But tonight, the tool that we are talking about is using a 5-minute sizzle call, okay? And now I just gave you some examples of why you want to use the tool, because it grows exponentially. The duplication it becomes astronomical, and it grows really fast when you make sure that you're using the tools. Again, resist the urge to sound intelligent, okay? All right, guys. Now, what I want to do here tonight is I want to go ahead, first of all, and I want to, we're going to talk about the 8 steps to inviting, okay? Now, before I do that, folks, on your screen, most of you should see we have a sizzle call for all of you in Canada. Let me give you the sizzle call number. This is the tool you're going to be using. For all of you in Canada, this is a number that you can dial, and it doesn't cost you any money. It's 1-888-728-2838. 1-888-728-2838. Okay? And that's for all of you in Canada. Okay? Now, for all of you that are in the United States, here's the number. It's the same call, but we just have it on a number that is affordable for everyone. The number is 641-715-3900, and the PIN number is 914189 and the pound sign. Okay? Once again, 641-715-3900, and the PIN number is 914189 and the pound sign. Okay? All right. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and talk about the 8 steps to inviting. Number 1 is to always be in a hurry. Number 1 is to always be in a hurry. Okay? Number 2. No, wait, let's talk about number 1 a little bit, first of all. When we talk about being in a hurry, guys, what that simply means is you don't have a lot of time when you're inviting. It doesn't mean that we want you to talk fast. All it simply means is to literally be in a hurry. You don't have a lot of time. Why? Because what is your goal? Your goal is to build a relationship with trust and collect a decision of yes or no. Okay? So again, number 1 is to be in a hurry. Okay? Number 2 is to always compliment the prospect. Always compliment the prospect. I don't care if you know them for 20 years or you're just meeting them right now. I don't care if you know them for 20 years or you've never spoken to them in your life. Always pay a sincere compliment to the prospect. Number 3, you then want to make the invitation. We're going to talk about this in a moment. Number 4, you want to use the if I, would you. If I, would you. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Number 5, you want to you want to get the confirmation, which is get the time commitment. Number 5 is to get the confirmation. Get the confirmation. It's the first confirmation that you're going to get, and get the time commitment. So number 5 is confirmation number 1 by getting the time commitment. Number 6 is confirmation number 2, confirming the time commitment. Number 7 is get the number and get the time and the number to call them. And number 8 is get off the phone. So once again, number 1 is to be in a hurry. Number 2, always compliment them. Number 3, make the invitation. Number 4 is if I would you. Number 5 is to get the first confirmation and time commitment. Number 6 is get the second confirmation and confirm the time commitment. Number 7 is to get the time and the best number to call. Number 8 is to get off the phone. Okay? So there you know, that is the 8 steps to inviting. Don't worry, you may think it sounds like a lot. It's really not. It's very simple once you just practice it a few times. It's very simple. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you really quickly about step number 1, being in a hurry. Being in a hurry, guys, is a psychological issue. Means this: when you don't have, people are attracted to non-needy people. People are attracted to non-needy people. You want to use short invitations, less questions, less resistance. People will respect you. You know, remember, you're busy. You got a lot going on. You're excited. Your time is short. Please remember, people are attracted to the non-needy people. Use short invitations. Very, 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 very important, okay? Number 2, you want to compliment the prospect. Now, this is critical, folks. Now, the compliment, it must be sincere. It must be sincere. Maybe they're wearing a nice blouse. Maybe they gave you great service at the restaurant. Maybe they have a beautiful smile. Maybe you like their shoes, okay? Find something to compliment. Professionals are always doing this. In other words, those of us that are professionals in the business, we're always finding something to compliment, and it has to be sincere, okay? Now, number 3, making the invitation. When it comes to making the invitation, folks, you have to understand this. There are 3 different types of approaches. You can't say the same thing to every single prospect. It will not work. Let me say that again. You cannot say the same exact thing to every single prospect, okay? It will not work. Number 3 is called make the invitation. There are only 3 different types of approaches that you can use to approach anyone. Over the phone, in person, it doesn't matter. There's only 3 different types of approaches. The first approach is called the direct approach. Now, some of you that don't know me, I am a very direct person. But not all of you on this call are very direct people, and that's perfectly okay. But the first approach is called the direct approach. Now, listen, the direct approach is used 10% of the time by people you have influence over. Please understand this. The direct approach is used 10% of the time by people that you have influence over. That simply means if I know you and I know that you look up to me, I can be very direct with you, okay? Now, my personality, it's just a direct personality typically 90% of the time. And what you'll find that when you're a direct person, not everybody likes that. Unfortunately, that's just who I am. And I like that, and I understand that some people don't like to be direct. But it's just a me thing. It's nothing to do with you. That's just my style of what I prefer. I'm very direct. I don't like to play games. Get to the point. Don't try and emotionally trick me. Tell me what you mean and mean what you say. I'm very direct. That is just my style. But I don't want you to think you have to be me. You don't. You get to be you. And as you're making the invitation, you want to be you. But the first approach is the direct approach. I'm going to give you some examples of that in a moment, okay? The second approach is the indirect approach, okay? We're going to explain this in just a moment, but I want you, for those of you taking notes, I want you to understand there is an indirect approach that can be very effective. And then the third approach is the super indirect, okay? The super indirect approach, all right? Now, let's go to step 4, because we're going to give you some examples in just a moment, so please don't worry, okay? But let's go to step 4, all right? Step 4 is to make the invitation, okay? Now, when it comes down to making the invitation, step 4 is the if I, would you. What do we mean when we say, if I, would you? Now, guys, I learned this from a very good friend of mine who's made millions and millions of dollars in this industry. And when I was taught this, I said, oh, my God, that is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard. If I, would you. You might want to write that down or remember it. If I, would you. You see, you got to remember, you're getting ready to offer them a third-party tool. And unless they agree to do something in return, this is going to be your secret weapon. Let me say that again. You're going to offer them a third-party tool. In this case, is your 5-minute sizzle call. And so unless they agree to do something, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I apologize, guys. You're not going to offer them your third-party tool unless they agree to do something in return. Say that again. You're not going to offer them your third-party tool of your 5-minute sizzle call unless they agree to do something in return. Hence the if I, would you. In other words, if I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that laid out all the information in a professional way, would you listen to it? Once again, if I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that laid out all of the information in a very professional way, would you listen to it? See, did you hear that? If I, would you? Once again, if I, would you? If I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that described the business, would you listen to it? Again, if I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that described the business, would you listen to it? Okay? If I gave you, a couple pieces, if I gave you some free samples of chocolate, would you eat it? It's if I, would you. Guys, this is so powerful. If I, would you. If I gave you access to an online presentation that explained everything, would you look at it? Did you care? I'm just repeating myself, folks, because I just want to drive this in. This is very important. If I, would you. If I, would you. Once again, if I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that laid out all the information in a very professional manner, would you listen to it? Okay? So step number 4 is if I, would you. Okay? And then step number 5 is providing that they've said yes. Providing that they've said yes. And typically, people are going to say, yeah, I'll listen to it. Step number 5 is to get a time commitment. Step number 5 is to get a time commitment. To get a time commitment. So what does that mean? It means this. You're going to say, when do you think you can listen to it for sure? Once again, when do you think you can listen to it for sure? When do you think you can listen to it for sure? Step number 5, when do you think you can listen to it for sure? So watch how this goes, folks. If I gave you access to a 5-minute sizzle call that described the business in a professional way, would you listen to it? Typically, they're going to say yes. You see, if you've done the first 3 steps properly, the answer will always be yes. If you've done the first 3 steps properly, the answer will always be yes. And once they say yes, you're then going to reply with, when do you think you can listen to it for sure? For sure. Okay? That is step number 5, to get a time commitment or the first confirmation. Okay? Then step number 6 is to confirm the time commitment. So for example, tonight is Wednesday. If the person said, I'll listen to it tonight, then you're going to reply, once again, if the person said, I'll listen to it tonight. So then you're going to say, so if I called you Thursday morning, you will have heard it for sure, right? Once again, let's say that they would say, I'll listen to it tonight. Then you're going to say, so if I called you Thursday morning, you will have listened to it for sure, right? See, what you're doing, folks, is you are reconfirming the time commitment that they said. Please understand this, guys. You are reconfirming the time commitment that they have just said. Now, if you're paying attention to me, and I'm deliberately going slow tonight because I want your brain to get this, guys, the key to number 6 is that the key to step number 6 is they have now said yes 3 times, that they will follow through, and that they've done it all by themselves. Once again, the key to number 6 is they have now said 3 times that they will follow through, and they've done it all by themselves. In other words, they've said yes 3 different times. You didn't say it for them. They've said yes. You got to understand the psychology behind that. They have said yes 3 different times, and they did it by themselves. So they've set a real appointment with you for the future. They have set a real appointment with you for the future. They said it. I want you to really catch this, guys. They have said it. So step number 7 is to get a time and a phone number. So once they've said, I will have listened to it Thursday morning for sure. Yes, I will. So what's the best number and time to call you Thursday morning? Step number 7. What's the best number and time to call you Thursday morning? And step number 8 is to remember you're in a hurry and get off the phone. Well, great. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning on that number. I'll talk to you later. I got to run right now, okay? I'll talk to you later. Now, guys, I deliberately explained this slow because I want you to understand each step. It is a system. If you will take the time tonight to master this, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to explode in this industry. That's a fact. See, let's just stop and think about what we've accomplished so far. I want you to imagine everybody you know, they can easily put someone on a 5-minute sizzle call. Everybody. That's easy, guys. There's no intimidation. They don't have to feel like they got to be this great speaker. They don't have to know all the information because the tool will do it for them. What's the purpose of a tool? The tool makes things easier for you, okay? All I'm doing tonight is teaching you there's 8 steps to becoming a professional inviter. 8 steps to inviting. 8 easy little steps. It may sound like a lot now, but once you practice them, and I'm going to give you some live examples in just a moment, you're going to see how easy it really is. It's very easy. But I wanted you to learn something tonight that was simple, something that fit your personality, something that you can see yourself doing. You know, after 7 years in the industry, what I've learned is if people can't see themselves doing it, they won't do it. And not everybody is a Suzanne Cherrick. Not everybody, is a Stephen Thompson. Not everybody, is a Gene and Lena. Not everybody, is one of these top producers right now. But they can be, okay? They can be, all right? So I want you to understand, folks, 8 steps to inviting, okay? Now, here's what we're going to do, folks. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to give you some live examples. Now, before I show you this, because we're going to put these up on your screen, you guys are going to love this. All of these examples that you're about to see will be on our website within the next 24 to 48 hours. So if you wanted to print this off, you could, okay? And they work, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at each one. These are the 8 steps to inviting in an actual live example, okay? The first one is, let's just say this is a person that hates their job that you know, and you're using the direct approach. I'll repeat. Let's say this is someone that hates their job that you know. So in other words, this would be somebody in your warm market. Obviously, you'd have to know them. And you're using the direct approach. So here's what it would sound like. Let's say his name was Bob. Hey, Bob. Hey, man, what's going on? It's me, Ramasio. Hey, listen, man, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it's really important that I reached you. Listen, you know, you're one of the most financially intelligent people that I know, and I've always respected that about you. So there's the compliment. And then you go into, well, Bob, when you told me that you really didn't like your job, were you serious or were you just kidding around? And, of course, the guy's going to say, man, I was serious. Well, great. I think I found a way for you to create an exit strategy without jeopardizing your family. Listen, I've got a 5-minute message that I would love for you to listen to, and it really describes what I'm talking about a lot better than I can. Listen, if I gave you access to this 5-minute message, would you at least listen to it? Bob says yes. When do you think you can listen to it for sure? I'll listen to it tomorrow. So, Bob, if I called you on Friday morning, you will have listened to it for sure, right? All right, great. Then what's the best time for me to actually call you, time and number? Fantastic. Listen, I got to run. I'll talk to you Friday morning at such and such time. Again, guys, that is using the direct approach. It's very simple. Now, I'm going to show you how it sounds in live time. Hey, Bob, it's me, Ramasio. Listen, man, I don't have a lot of time to talk. It was really important that I caught up with you. You got a minute? Listen, man, you know, you're one of the most financially intelligent people that I've ever had a chance to know, and I really respect that about you. Listen, when you told me the other day that, you know, you didn't like your job and that, you know, were you serious or were you just kind of kidding around? Well, listen, man, I think I found a way for you to really create an exit strategy without jeopardizing your family. Listen, I've got a 5-minute message that I would love for you to listen to that really better describes the whole concept in 5 minutes. Tell me this, if I gave you access to a 5-minute message that really explained things, would you listen to it? You would? Okay. When do you think you could listen to it for sure? Tonight? Okay, fantastic. So if I called you at, let's say tomorrow morning or maybe even later tonight, will you have heard it for sure? All right, fantastic. Then which number you want me to call you on? This number? Okay, great. I'll call you tonight at 8:30, and we'll talk then. Hey, listen, I got to run for now, but we'll chat later, okay? I'll talk to you at 8:30. Bye-bye. And I'm off the phone, okay? So that's example number 1 of somebody that you know using the direct approach, okay? Now, let's go to example number 2. This also is a good friend of yours, so that would mean this is the warm market, but this is using the indirect approach. The indirect approach. Let's call this person Sarah. Hey, Sarah, it's me, Ramasio. I was just running out the door, but I needed to talk to you really quick. You got a sec? Yeah, I got a second. Listen, you know, you've always been very supportive of me, and I really appreciate that so much. Listen, I've just started a new business, and I'm scared to death. But before I get going in this business, I need someone that I can really practice on that's, you know, someone that's kind of friendly, you know. Would you mind if I kind of practice on you? And she says, great. Great. If I gave you access to a 5-minute message that really kind of explained everything in a professional way, would you listen to it? And she says, sure. When do you think you could actually listen to it? When do you think you could actually listen to it? For sure. You got to say the word for sure, guys. Okay? When do you think you can listen to it for sure? And she's going to tell you, let's say she said, I can listen to it tonight. So if I called you tomorrow morning, you will have reviewed it for sure, right? Fantastic. Listen, I'll call you tomorrow morning at such and such time. Listen, I got to run. We'll talk later. So once again, in real, here's how it sounds. Hey, Sarah, listen, I'm running out the door, but I really need to talk to you. Listen, you know, you've always been very, very supportive of me, and you know, I really appreciate that. Listen, I just started a new business, and I'm really kind of a little scared about it, but I need to get a little practice on someone that's kind of friendly. So I thought I'd give you a call. Would you mind if I could kind of practice on you? Well, great. Listen, if I gave you access to a 5-minute message that really kind of, you know, better explains things in a professional way, would you listen to it? Well, great. When do you think you can listen to it for sure? Tomorrow? Great. So if I called you tomorrow afternoon, would that be a good time that you've heard it for sure? Fantastic. I'll call you on this number. Great. I'll talk to you tomorrow at 4:30, and we'll catch up then, okay? All right, I've got to run. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? Now, I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, you mean you want me to give out the Sizzle Call number to people? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I have found out since we've come out with the Sizzle Call is that, of course, we would prefer you to three-way them into the Sizzle Call using your cell phone. But believe it or not, not everyone knows how to do a three-way call. Not everyone all around the country knows how to do a three-way call. For some people, a three-way call is challenging for them to do. So instead of doing that, we just decided to say, hey, give people the number. If you can't use your cell phone to three-way them into the call, so that way you can make sure that they listen to it, just give them the number, okay? And just make sure you follow this process, okay? Now, let's go to another example, all right? Now, here's another example, and this is a highly successful person using the indirect approach. I repeat, this is another example of a highly successful person using the indirect approach, okay? And obviously, this is somebody that you know. We're going to do the cold market last, but this is someone that you know. Let's call this person Dan. So, hey, Dan. Hey, it's me, Romacio. Listen, man, I know you're busy, and I know you have a million things going on, but I'm glad I caught up with you, man. I'm so glad I caught you. Listen, man, you have been widely successful, and I've always respected the way that you've done business. I really have. I've always respected the way you've done business. Listen, I've recently started a new business, and I'm looking for some sharp people. And it's clearly not for you. You know, this business, it's clearly not for you, Dan. But I wanted to ask you, who do you know that is ambitious, money motivated, and would be excited about the idea of adding more cash flow to their lives? And you wait for them to answer. And then you say, I understand that, because he's going to, when you ask him that question, folks, and then this is what you're going to say, because he's probably going to say, well, I might know a few people, but I don't feel comfortable giving out their number. And this is what you're going to say. I understand that you want to know more before you would recommend somebody. I completely understand that. So listen, I've got a 5-minute message that basically, it clearly explains all the details in a professional manner and basically the kind of person that I'm looking for. It's really brief. If I gave you access to a 5-minute message, would you just take 5 minutes to listen to it? I know you're extremely busy, and I'm grateful for your help. Thank you for agreeing to look at it. At that point, you say, listen, when do you think you can listen to it for sure? I can do it tomorrow. So if I called you tomorrow afternoon, Dan, you will have heard it for sure, right? Great. I'll check back with you tomorrow. What's the best time and number to reach you on? So again, guys, this is an indirect approach. It's very, very powerful. Let me give it to you in real time what it sounds like. Hey, Dan, it's me, Romacio. Hey, man, listen, I know that you're very busy. You've got a bunch of things going on, but I'm so glad you took my call. I'm glad I caught you. Listen, man, you've been very successful in business, and I've always really admired and really respected the way that you've done business from afar. Listen, I've recently just started a brand new business myself, and I'm kind of looking for some sharp people. And to be frank with you, Dan, this business, it's clearly not for you. It's just not something I think that you'd be interested in. But I wanted to at least call you and ask you, who do you know that's ambitious, money motivated, and, somebody that, would be excited, to add some additional income into their lives. And I know that you're probably thinking, well, before you would refer me anybody, you probably would want to know a little bit more about it before you recommended me someone. Listen, I've got a 5-minute pre-recorded message, man. It kind of really explains thoroughly in 5 minutes kind of the person that I'm kind of looking for. It's real brief, Dan. If I gave you access to it, would you at least just take 5 minutes to listen to it for me? Great. Listen, man, I know you're very, very busy. I appreciate that. I'm super grateful for your help. Thanks for agreeing to look at it. Dan, tell me, when could you listen to it for sure? Tomorrow? 5 o'clock? Fantastic. So if I called you tomorrow, 5:30, is that a good time you have heard it for sure, right? Great. I'll call you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Thanks for your time, man. I got to go. I'll talk to you later. Thanks, Dan. Very, very simple, guys. Very, very simple. Always follow these 8 steps. It's very, very simple, okay? And then last but not least, guys, let's talk about the cold market. Now, listen, I want to tell you this, guys, before I go into the cold market here. Your warm market, you're never going to make a fortune with your warm market. All the big money that you're going to make in this industry, folks, it's going to happen in the cold market. People that you do not know, people you've never met before. Your warm market are the people that basically you're going to practice on. And the cold market is where you're going to make the lion's share of all your money. So if you have already exhausted your warm market, in other words, if you've already shared the chocolate or, basically talked to everyone in your warm market, guys, it's time to go into the cold market and have a little fun. And the cold market, guys, is where all of your blessings, all of your fortunes, it lies in the cold market. Write this down and never forget it. For your life to change and to massively explode, it's going to be because of someone you do not know comes into your life and helps take your life to the next level. Let me say that again. For your life to massively explode, it's going to be because of someone you don't know that comes into your life and helps transform your entire life. Trust me, I'm a living example of that time and time again. So let's talk about the cold market, okay? Example number 4 is to a cold market prospect, somebody that's done a fine job at serving you. For example, maybe at a restaurant, or maybe they sold you a pair of shoes at the mall. It could be anywhere, guys, okay? Just follow the example. Somebody that's done a good job of giving you some good service, okay? And take a look at this, guys. All right, so here we go. Let's just say, let's call this person John. And I just say, it doesn't matter where you're at. It could be at the grocery store. It doesn't matter where you're at, okay? Just get the point of the concept. Hey, John, listen, now isn't the time to get into this. But you know what, man? You're very sharp. You're a very sharp person, man. Just in the short time that I've seen you here and the service that you provide. You're very sharp. Listen, let me ask you something. I happen to be looking for some very sharp people. And let me ask you a question. Do you plan on doing what you're doing right now for the rest of your career? If he says no, then you say good. Listen, man, I've got something that might interest you. I can't make you any promise, but it might interest you. Listen, now's not the time to get into it, but I've got a 5-minute message, it's a pre-recorded message, that really explains everything in great detail. Listen, if I gave you access to this message, would you listen to it? He says yes. When do you think you could listen to it for sure? I'll listen to it tonight when I get off work. Okay, so if I called you at let's say 7 o'clock, that way you get off work at 6:30. If I called you at 7 o'clock, you will have listened to it for sure, right? Fantastic. Well, listen, I'll get back with you at 7 o'clock. What's the best number to reach you on? Boom, and he gives me the number. And listen, thanks again for the excellent service, man. I'll talk to you later tonight, okay? Very simple, guys. Once again, here it is in live time. Hey, listen, John. Listen. You got a second, John? Hey, listen, man, listen. Now is not the time to get into all the details, but man, you really struck me as a very sharp person. And I happen to be looking for some sharp people right here in this area. And let me ask you something, man, just kind of a shot in the dark question. Do you plan on doing what you're doing for the rest of your career? And he says, no. Listen, man, I've got something that really might interest you. And I can't make you any promises, and now is certainly not the time to get into all the details right now. But listen, if I gave you access to a 5-minute message that kind of really laid everything out in a professional manner, would you take 5 minutes to at least listen to it? And he says yes. Tell me, man, when could you listen to it for sure? When could you listen to it for sure? I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, great. Listen, so if I called you maybe tomorrow afternoon, would that you will have listened to it for sure, right? Okay, great. Tomorrow, what's the best number and time to call you? Boom, and I get the number, and I say, hey, man, thanks again for the service, bro. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Very, very simple, guys. Very, very simple, okay? So there you have it, guys. Listen, I've given you 4, and I've got one more bonus special surprise for you, but I'm giving you 4 different approaches. I gave you a direct approach. I gave you 2 indirect approaches for your warm market, and I've given you 1 cold market approach, okay? So we've covered everybody tonight. Now listen, guys, you get the concept. Again, it's 8 steps to inviting. Always be in a hurry. Give them a sincere compliment. Make the invitation. Step 4 is if I, would you. Then step 5 is to get the time commitment. And then step 6 is to reconfirm the time commitment. Step 7, get the time and the number to call them. And step 8 is to get off the phone, okay? Very, very simple. Now, here's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to practice tonight. Practice tonight, guys. Practice always makes improvement. Anybody who's a professional at anything is only because they've practiced. Now, I want to give you one last thing before we jump off the line. Listen carefully. Guys, I am a professional, and my job, I'm going to break my back to teach you how to become a professional in this industry. I am going to always make sure that we provide the best training, efficient methods, very, user-friendly, cost-effective means to jump on conference calls, videos, everything. It's because I have made a vow. You will not ever be able to say that you did not get trained properly in this organization. I don't care if we have 300,000 people, and we will one day in our organization. It will always be everybody has a source that they can go to and get the information. Guys, listen, I am so big on training. If you really want to frustrate me, sign somebody up in the business and don't teach them the right way. Do you know what you've done to that person? You have robbed them of their success. You have literally robbed them. Guys, I take that serious. This industry has been so good to us. It has been so good to us. I'm not a billionaire, but it has been so good to our family, the friends, the information, the money, the travel, even the tears. It's been some tough days, absolutely, and I'm sure there's going to be more ahead. But guys, I count it all joy. I count it all joy. This industry is so beautiful. But you've got to understand, write this down. True wealth only will reveal itself to those people that are patient enough to train others. True wealth will only reveal itself to those that are patient enough to train others. Guys, I am a huge stickler on training. I want to see you win, and I mean win now. I want you to know that you can do this business regardless of your gender, regardless of your age, regardless of your background. This is the real deal. You have found it. You've got the right team. You've got the right time. You've got the right product. It is your time to get what you deserve. Okay? No excuses. You can do this one, guys. And as a bonus that I want to give you guys, before we get off the phone, I'm going to give you exactly what I said my first 30 days when I became a Diamond in LiveSmart 360 in November of 2013. I'm going to give you exactly what I said. Now, you got to remember, before I give this to you, I want you to understand I have a very direct personality. So some of you, you may not like this, and that's okay. Remember, when you're inviting, I want you to be you. That's why you've got 3 different types of approaches: direct, indirect, and super indirect. I prefer direct. That's just me. Don't be intimidated by what works for me. Let's identify what will work for you, okay? Now, this is exactly what I said. You don't have to write it down. You can go to our team website, go360star.com, and underneath training videos, it's video number 3. Word for word, ladies and gentlemen, word for word on exactly what I said and still say to this day when I'm inviting someone to actually hear about this business. Okay? I'm gonna. Let's just say the prospect's name is Robert. Okay, and this is exactly what I say. This is exactly what I say. Now, me, it doesn't matter if I know them or not. Even though the truth is there is a warm market and there's a cold market, but the way that I see the world, I don't see it that way. There is a warm market, truth be told, and a cold market, truth be told. But in my mind and in my heart, I don't see it that way. I'm a very friendly guy. So the way I look at the world is there are friends that I have and there are friends that I'm waiting to meet. There are friends that I have and there are friends that I'm waiting to meet. So in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know anything called a cold market. I don't know any such thing. What do you mean this person is cold? Ain't nothing cold. No. Now I understand we're best friends. We've never met yet, but I'm always going to be friendly. That's why in return I get friendly. I'm always going to be friendly. That's why in return I get love. I give love to get love. That's how I play the game. So with my direct personality, this is what I say exactly, whether I know them or not. Ring, ring. Hey, Robert. Hey, this is Romacio. Hey, how you doing, man? Listen, we don't know each other personally, but I came across your business card. I saw that, you were a real estate agent with Remax Gold. And this is not a cold call, but I'm actually calling you for a specific reason. Hey, do you have a quick minute to talk? I don't want to, take you away from something if you don't have time, but it's kind of an important reason why I'm giving you a call. Do you have a quick minute to talk? Robert says, yeah, I got a quick second. Hey, listen, man, I appreciate you for taking the call, first of all. Listen, as I said, Robert, we don't know each other, but I'm responsible for a very large, unique business concept that's expanding into your area right now. And I like to reach out to a couple of professionals in the area when we do a major expansion and give them the chance to really benefit from this expansion because it's huge. It really is huge. Robert, let me ask you a question before I go any further. I know we've never met before, and I know that you're probably very successful in what you do, okay? Let me ask you something. Do you keep your business options open to other ways of making money in addition to what you do right now? Robert may say yes, he may say no, or he may say it depends. Let's say he says it depends. My reply, Robert, I know it always depends, but in the respective time of both me and you, I don't want to talk details if you're not open at all. So again, my question still stands. Are you open, if it's a good fit, to a serious additional stream of cash flow, if it's a good fit? Are you open? At that point, typically, Robert will say, well, sure, I'm open. Do you have something that you can send me? And I'll say, well, yeah, but before we move that far, Robert, let me ask you this. I want to be very straight up and direct with you, okay? Robert, if you had the chance to be a part of a ground floor network marketing opportunity that was owned by a billionaire, and we were willing to position you at the very top and give you an instant downline of some people to help you get off to a quick start, does that interest you at all to know any more details? Once again, what I say, Robert, if you had the chance to be on the ground floor of a network marketing opportunity whereby we positioned you at the very top and we were willing to give you an instant downline, does that interest you at all to know any more of the details? Yes or no? If Robert says no, Robert, I want to thank you so much for your time. Best wishes to you in the future. If Robert says yes, I then say, Robert, listen, I'm putting together a private conference call where I'm going to be, or I'm going to be sharing all of the details about what this project entails, and I'm going to be laying everything out for about 30 to 45 minutes. Robert, if I were to give you access to this private conference call, could you rearrange your schedule so that you can get the full scope and the full picture of what we're embarking on in your area? He then may say, well, can you tell me a little bit about it? Yes, I can. Robert, we're the first ever to do a concept called healthy chocolate. I presume you or other people you know like chocolate, right? He's going to say yes. Listen, you need to jump on this. It's billionaire backed. Listen, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, can you carve out about 45 minutes to be on a call and really get the information? Okay? If he says he can't, I then say, does that mean you're not interested, or does that just mean the timing is bad? He'll then say, I'm interested, but the timing just doesn't work. No big deal. Give me a couple times, Rob, that would work the best for you for about 30 minutes to have a look and listen to some information. Okay? And I just kind of reset the appointment on a time that works best. Okay? And then I will say, now, Robert, let me ask you this. If you like what you are going to see or hear on this conference call, if you like it, if you are feeling the concept, and again, I want to emphasize again, Robert, if you like it, if you like it, and if you're feeling it, would there be any reason that would stop you from getting involved? And then he says, well, you know, it would depend. How much money is there any money involved? Yes, Robert, this is a business opportunity. Absolutely it is. As a matter of fact, it's somewhere between $200 and $2,500 to get started. If you liked it, Robert, I would presume that you do have a debit or credit card available of $200 to $2,500, correct? And he'll then say, yes. Again, no strings attached. You may not like it, but I think you are, so I'll see you tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, okay? Fantastic. Guys, that is what I do. I sift and I sort. So one more time. Let's say it's somebody that I do know. Same thing. Let's call this person, let's call her Carla. Hey, Carla, it's me, Ramasio. Hey, girl, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. Hey, listen, girl, you got a quick minute? I don't have a lot of time at the moment, but I needed to talk to you. You got a second? Yeah, I got a second. Hey, listen, girl, I'm about to launch a major business project. I am about to launch something big. I just partnered with a couple very successful people. One of them is a billionaire, okay? And I'm very thrilled and excited about this. Let me ask you something, because I don't want to waste no time. Are you open to making more money right now in addition to what you do, or are you content where you're at? Well, you know me, Mas. Of course I'm open. Well, listen, let me ask you this next question. Carla, if you had the chance to be on the ground floor, and if I could position you at the very top of a multi-level marketing company that was owned by a billionaire, and we were going to give you an instant downline of people to get you off to a quick start at making money, does that interest you at all to find out any more details? Yes or no? Well, yes. Okay, Carla, here, listen. I'm putting together a private meeting. I'm putting together a private conference call. I need you on this call about 30 minutes to hear the details. Now, Carla, let me ask you something before we go here. If you like what you hear and see, would there be any reason that you wouldn't get started? If you liked it, if you were feeling it, would there be any reason that you wouldn't get started? Well, it kind of depends. Well, Carla, this is a business, okay? It does require money to get started, anywhere between $200 to $2,500 one time. Again, I say, if you liked it, Carla, and you were feeling it, would there be anything that would stop you from getting yourself started tonight when you see it? Well, I need to talk to my husband. Okay, presuming your husband likes it and he's feeling it, I just don't want to waste your time, girl, that's all. Because I'm identifying right now, 20 key people in the next 5 days that I'm going to position at the very top, and we're about to kill this thing. We are about to kill this thing. Okay? Guys, that is exactly what I say. You can go to the website, watch the video. Again, I want to say one more disclaimer. Those last two invitations are not for everyone on this call. I'm dead serious. I have a very direct personality. I prefer it that way because I understand the game. You're sifting and you're sorting. Listen, some will, some won't, so what next? Some will, some won't, so what next? I understand that as a professional. So one of the things when you're inviting is you don't want to get emotionally attached. You don't want to get emotionally attached. Detach your emotions. What does that mean? It means this. Do you think McDonald's cares about all the people who go and frequent Subway? No, they don't. Does Subway make a bunch of money? Yes, they do. And so does McDonald's. Do you think Mercedes-Benz cares about all the people who go and purchase Mitsubishi? No, they don't. But they both make millions of dollars. In business, you've got to detach your emotions. What is your goal when inviting? Your goal is to build trust, to build a relationship with trust, and collect a decision. That means a yes or a no. So again, last time, the last two invitations, guys, is not for everyone. But I wanted you to know exactly what I say when inviting people, okay? So with that, please understand we all have different personalities. I want you to know you don't always say the same exact thing to every single prospect, but you can follow the same exact 8 steps. Guys, I am so pumped up, so excited for you to now get off this phone in just a minute, and I would like you tomorrow, I'm going to give you a challenge. Tomorrow, I want you to have a challenge to put 10 people on the sizzle call. I want you to prospect and invite 10 people. Now, that means if you prospect and invite 10 people and 5 of the 10 say, no, I wouldn't listen to a 5-minute message, no big deal. That still counts. I just want you to approach 10 people tomorrow. Do it tomorrow, whether that's people you know or people you don't know. I want you to see the first level of confidence is becoming good at inviting. Okay? I'm super pumped up. Thank you guys for listening, guys. Once again, this call was recorded. We will see all of you guys next week, guys. We'll be talking about the third skill of actually mastering the 7 skills of becoming a network marketing professional. We will be talking about that next week. Thank you for listening, guys. Use this information, apply this information, and go silver right now. If you're already a silver, go gold right now. If you're already a gold, guys, come on, baby. Get to diamond. Do it right now. All right, guys. We love this team. We'll see you guys all next week. Thanks again for listening, guys. Bye-bye for now.